Hello everybody and welcome back. I've been getting a lot of requests on horns, so I'm going to show you my technique I like to do when making foam horns for costumes right here on the Old Ted channel. Alright, what you're seeing here right here is a styrofoam. I had 2-inch bead styrofoam I bought in a sheet, and I drew out my horn on a tip plate and took it into the bandsaw and cut it all out and went back in with a matte knife, whittled it down, and then went in with 80 grit sandpaper and smoothed it out. I go into a little more details in that on my how to make large patterns with Holly Conrad when she made her Brewster costume. You can check out the video right there. So I go in a little more detail with taking foam and cutting it in the bandsaw. See, now I take aluminum foil and wrapped my foam to get completely covered with aluminum foil. And the reason I put the aluminum foil down is so I can put duct tape on top of it. As you can see, I have the whole horn now covered completely in duct tape. And also, when you're laying duct tape on, make sure you don't put duct tape on top of duct tape so much. I try to do the really thin pieces. I do wrap a piece here, put a piece on top of that. The less duct tape you have, the better. Just all the duct tape is really there is to hold the aluminum foil together to make your pattern. Now, as you see, something is cylindrical like a horn. I found that to make this all lay out nice and flat into a pattern, you usually have to cut up in 4 pieces. As you can see right there, I have 1 and then 2 on the top, and I have 3 and 4 on the bottom. So, because whatever I do when you make these patterns, I have to be able to lay them out nice and flat so you can transfer them onto foam. And also, you can see I went back through and made my registration marks, so I'll be able to put this back together the way it was. Now, after taking an X-ACTO blade, cutting my pattern out and making notches for my registration marks, there are the patterns all nicely laid out. I have them labeled and numbered. I'm going to transfer these guys onto poster board. Alright, now the wonderful world of video. I took those duct tape patterns I made, and I made poster board templates. And I like poster board templates because they're easy to pin down and easy to trace. Now, the reason I'm getting into details about this is I've labeled all my templates 1, 2, 3, 4. I have all my parts because I want to put that horn back together like it was originally. And how am I going to do that is to make sure there's no confusion. Is that on the edges, you want to make sure the right edge is going to the right part. So when I cut it all apart, I make sure I labeled everything. So I have AA on the edge. So I have, on number 1 I have A, and on number 2 I have A, so I know this guy's going to go here. And on number 2 I have B, so on part 3 I have B on the edges. So therefore, you make sure your edges are all going to the proper edge you need to go to. And now, once I do that with these patterns, templates I have, I also flip it over and do the same thing on the side. So I have 1 left. And I have the A and the D, so you make sure you do the same thing on both sides of your patterns. Well, now I covered all that. Let's go ahead and trace these guys onto foam and cut them out. All right, I took my templates and went and traced them. And actually, I traced them onto white L200, and this is 1/4 inch. As you guys can see, I went ahead and transferred all the information that was on the templates onto my foam, which will make this easy assembly. But now I got this all together, and these horns, when you glue these pieces together, the one thing you're going to run into, which I want to clarify, is that, let's take our 1 and 2 there. And when you go to put them together, when it gets to the top where these guys taper, the foam on the inside, I realize this is going to have to be tapered on the back side because all the foam's going to gather up and it's going to get bunched up here. So what I have to do is take these, so I kind of made a mark from this point up. I'm going to go ahead and just make these guys inside a slight foam have room to move in so it won't gather up. So on the tips, I like to take the foam, just try a slight on the top, because the foam has to have a place to go. Now we begin to glue. And now, just before I did it, this brought something to mind I wanted to clarify. When you're doing something like really elaborate patterns, like something as much as like a horn, I always found that the 2 leading edges you're going to put together, put glue on them only. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start putting this horn together, and sometimes people like to put the glue on all the edges first and then start doing the assembly. But for something like these horns, it's so elaborate, just do the 2 leading edges first to put them together. And the reason being because once you start doing that and you start to put on, you'll find the other parts will start grabbing and sticking where you don't want them to. So right out of the gate, just do your 2 edges you're going to put together first. So I'm going to start with my number 1 and 2 with the AA sides. See this curve? I'm always doing the hardest part first. Here we go. Line those guys up. Got that. Okay, now I got these this crazy curve going on. Now I got these two glue there. Now I can go on and jump on and start doing glue on just this edge here as well. And trust me, this will make assembly a lot easier. Okay, now we're going to start number 4 here at the top. It's going to be tricky. Line them up. Make sure, whatever you do when you're doing these, make sure you get your registration marks. Because you'll feel them fighting and pulling, but that's the true form it needs to be in. So you just line those guys up. There you go, line it up. Okay, you can see, it's kind of crazy looking, but it's all coming together. And now, what you have to do is just do the glue on the 2 side leading edges right here. And we'll pull this bad boy together. So let's do that next. Okay, I have my glue applied, it's ready to go. Now, people always wonder, where do you start? I've always found when doing something like a horn, start the narrowest part first, because what's going to happen, if you start from down here, and it's going to get to it, you're not going to be able to get underneath there to hold it. So I always start the narrowest part first of the horn. So I just kind of flip it, and we're going to line up our registration marks. And you just got to get down here and pinch the guy together. And start with the narrowest part first. All right, line it up. That. Okay, we're on the final stretch home. Get it lined up. There. Okay, and boom, got it there. All right, there it is. Officially got the right horn all put together. Let's go ahead and glue the left one, and we'll come right back. And then here they are. I got my right to my lefts, which basically go like this, kind of see them curling in a little bit. Now I got these. What I want to do next, as I realize as I'm putting this together, the tips, I kind of taper them. Now I'm looking at this, I probably tapered them a little bit too much, but it's kind of a little bumpy on the ends here. I'm going to take my Dremel and clean this up. Also, while I have my Dremel, any high points I find right here, I'm just going to go ahead and take a Dremel and knock these guys down so I can go back and sand over them later. So I'm going to go ahead and clean these guys up really quick with my trusty Dremel. Just kind of make them a little more uniform. Okay, now my sanding stick, which I'm going to have my 120 grit sandpaper. I'm just going to go back over where I dremeled, kind of even everything up a little bit. Now, over it with 320. I just want to get all the fuzzies off, the deep scratches, and then, all right. Now I went ahead and got them all 320. Now for my favorite, break it out, and I'm going to use the torch. Once again, for you people out there who don't want to use the torch, you can still use a heat gun on this. Just go over the finer grit and just get your heat gun on high and just melt it, same. But I love the torch, it's quick. Let's get these guys really quick. All right, now that they're heat sealed, sanded and ready to go, my next step is Kwik seal. This is going to be used to kind of smooth out the seams. Now granted, if you're making horns, you can definitely start, basically you can go back and start doing like thin strips or doing ribs. You can do them individually. I'm doing these kind of like bull horns, so I'm going to make these guys smooth. So I'm using my Kwik seal. I have my trusty spatula. And if you don't have a spatula, you can use like a popsicle stick or whatever tool you like to work with. And also a cup of water I like to keep by, because I like to just kind of lay it on, wet my finger, and fill in the seams. As a matter of fact, let me show you. I'm going to start with this guy right here. There you go. I'll put a decent amount here, because a little goes a long ways. Now I'm just going to use it like a filler. And I'm just going to kind of go over my seams. Now one thing about this stuff, it dries really quick. Thus the name, Kwik seal. What I like to do, while I got it, to kind of even everything out, wet my fingers, It really kind of helps feather it in. So I just take that, wet it like so, gently, and don't want to press too hard because you don't want to push off, you don't want to rub off what you've already put on, but you just want to definitely feather it in. And once you put water on this stuff, you'll see. And it's also something you'll get over time with feeling, but you'll play with this stuff enough, you'll really get it down. It's actually a really nice way to seal in seams. Just hit this with a hairdryer. All right, so now, so therefore, that's what I'm going to do now. I'm going to go through and just do all my seams on both these horns. 8 hours later, the horns are done, and I got the Kwik seal on there. And what's cool thing about this stuff is once it's dry, it's really durable and very flexible, as you can see. See? Now I could coat this with many things, but my choice this time around is I'm going to use balloon rubber latex. I'm going to coat that, and which that involves my trusty critter. So let's go ahead and load this up. Okay, now let's load up our critter gun. What I like to do, pouring latex, I like to get a piece of mesh or metal wire, because no matter what you're pouring in here, any small chunk in your critter gun, little debris or whatnot, it'll clog up this little tube and it stops it. So then you have to, of course, take it off and clean it. It becomes kind of a pain. So what I like to do is to prevent that as much as possible is have a little strainer. So I take my balloon rubber and, of course, pour it through the strainer. There we go. That's good. This balloon rubber is really clean, so not very little residue. But over time, this stuff does get chunky. So make this a habit to always strain your latex. And since I'm going to do horns, and I want the base, I went out and got me some Berman's Black Latex Tint. It'd be good if I shake it first. Once again, adding tints, make sure you shake this first. Okay, got it. Now, probably have to pour a little bit less. Very concentrated. There you go. Okay, that's plenty. Now, got my stir stick. And of course, when you do this, your latex will not go black. It'll go like a dark gray because it will dry black. But on latex, it'll go black. As a matter of fact, this is a very dark gray, so this will be really black. Put my lid, and also, when I'm getting ready to spray, do not forget your particle mask. Put this bad boy on before spraying. So let's get busy. Okay, here we are. We're in my spray booth, and I got the horns on the little post ready to go. And also, since I'm going to spray latex on these guys, I have to put an adhesion on this. This is where I use 77. I'm going to spray these guys, and after I spray this, then I'll coat it with latex. So let's go and get a coat on these guys first. Just a thin coat. Now I know some of you people up there asking, like, why 77? I like it because it's not too heavy and it doesn't leave a texture so much. It just makes the top of the foam very sticky. So therefore the latex will really grab to the foam. Now we're ready to go. Also, got my mask on. Our first coat. I like to put it on really thin in the beginning, not heavy. Nice thin coat. Okay, as I was saying, this is my fifth coat. And now that they're done, latex, I like to give them a good 8 hours. So we're not going to leave them as is, let them dry overnight, and we'll check on them again on tomorrow. Ta-da! There they are. I let them dry overnight. And the best thing I like about rubber latex, well, two reasons why I chose rubber latex to seal the foam. Number one, super durable, and number two, it fills in the seams and imperfections. As I said, it's really tough, and you can bend it, flex it, and it's not any fear of it cracking or splitting. But I mean, I had the Kwik seal on it. I wanted to smooth these horns out. With the balloon rubber latex, I can spray coats. This is about 5 coats, and the more layers you build, you can hide the flaws and imperfections by putting a lot of coats on. I think this is about 5 coats. But here they are, the rubber horns. Bring me the horn of the unicorn. Anyway, guys, there it is. That's my technique on how to make foam horns. Well, now that they're done, I'm giving them away. And you're thinking, what? Ted, you're giving these horns away. How can I get in on that action? Real simple. All I have to do is go to this link right here. That'll take you to my Evil Ted Smith Facebook page where I have all my details on the giveaway. Also, guys, if you're shopping, don't forget to buy supplies below my video, which has all my Amazon links right down below. And you guys can also follow me on Twitter at EvilTed40 and Instagram at EvilTed_channel. And for all you people for the first time watching the Evil Ted channel, don't forget to subscribe. The more subscribers I get, the more videos I can make. All right? Thanks a lot, guys. Thanks so much. It was fun making these, and I'll catch you back next time right here on the Evil Ted channel.